The Las Vegas Golden Knights, just the 7th team in NHL history to sweep the #1 overall seed in the postseason. Las Vegas has now won 11 of their last 13 games after dropping 2 of their first 3 postseason games to Utah. No President's Trophy winner has gone on to win the Stanley Cup the same season since the Chicago Blackhawks. That was way back in 2013. And we are now joined by our NHL analyst, Jamie McLennan, to break down this Las Vegas victory. Jamie, this is remarkable, and especially remarkable. We just saw John Tortorella. This team made a coaching change with 8 games to go. 8 games to go. How were they able to flip the script and have so much success since Tortorella took over?
Well, Kelly McCrimmon came out and basically said that this team needed something to wake them up because they did not have a great season whatsoever. And it happened at the expense of Bruce Cassidy. So John Tortorella comes in. He's a veteran coach. He just talked about it. That's a veteran team. They know how to play, but they needed something to get them going, a shot across the bow, and they certainly did. And you could see them get stronger and stronger in the playoffs as they got to their game. Their top players were their top players. And I'll point out, it coincides with Carter Hart coming back into the lineup. Let's not forget that they had inconsistency in net all season. Carter Hart came back 1 game after John Tortorella took over, and he hasn't looked back. So they've had great goaltending, and then the team has settled into a strong systematic play, and their top players have looked like top players. So the coach has pressed all the right buttons. He's motivated this group, but that's a group that's been there and done that before. So it took, unfortunately, a firing of Bruce Cassidy to wake them up, and they've woken up because they dominated the Colorado Avalanche.
And to your point, Jamie Noodles McLennan, hot players, top players, playing like top players. Mitchell Marner, the leading scorer in the postseason. Let's hear from him after this win.
A special moment. Like I was saying to Sean, I mean, there's been some dark times in hockey for myself, honestly. Thankful for my family, my brother, my mom and dad, my wife, all my friends around me. So, yeah, that was a moment just to express, some joy and some, some fun there. And I'll enjoy it for the night and then, be ready to go to work.
How do you sum up the last 2 months?
Some dark times in hockey, Mitchell Marner just said there. Jamie, I assume he's talking about the decade of playoff struggles with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now he leads all players in scoring this postseason, and he is the odds-on favorite to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. Is it just an evolution of Mitchell Marner as a player, Jamie, or has he just found the right team for his talents?
I'm going to say both. So let's start with the evolution of the player. He's played in the Olympics. He's played in the Four Nations face-off. He's been on the top stage with the best players, and he's proven that he can be there. Yes, he didn't have a lot of success in Toronto, but the team, the way it was constructed, or maybe it just didn't work out. But you get older, you get wiser, and now let's slide to the right situation where you don't necessarily have to be the top dog. You can be one of them. Because it's Mark Stone's team, it's Jack Eichel's team, it's Shea Theodore's team. But he can slide into that leadership group and be the star player that he is. And there was no debating that he was a star player in Toronto. There's no debating that he's a top-tier player in the National Hockey League, but he's been able to flourish in a tight system and maybe with not the scrutiny that he saw in Toronto. But the bottom line is he's been fantastic, and we've seen him grow and get better and better. He's had an unbelievable playoff, and you're right, he should be up for the Conn Smythe, along with his goaltender, Carter Hart. I got to give him some love because I think Carter Hart has to be there as well. But ultimately, Mitch Marner has done exactly what people have been dying for him to do in the playoffs and go deep into the playoffs, and that's dominate and use his skill set, and we've seen it on display here all playoffs long for Vegas.
I want to go back to that quote, the Mitchell Marner dark times in hockey quote. Jamie, how do you think Brian Hayes and O-Dog will react to that quote?
Well, we probably won't even bring it up on the show. I'm not sure. I mean, or we might lead at 4 o'clock on Wednesday with it. But honestly, it is. And it's just Mitch being honest. He's a really competitive guy. So there's nothing wrong with, you know what, you've had your ups and downs throughout your career. Well, this is a high. Enjoy it. You heard him say, I'm going to enjoy it for one night and I'm going to go back to work tomorrow or the next day. They might have a few days off, given that they're going to have some time between Montreal and Carolina to battle it out. But I think it's fantastic, and it's unfortunate that, yes, he probably wanted to finish something in Toronto, was unable to do that, but he's moved on to Vegas, and he's going to try and win a Stanley Cup in his new setting. So, yes, dark times in Toronto. I'm sure it'll be talked about in that market.
Yes, I'm sure it will be. Let's talk about Colorado. The Colorado Avalanche, Jamie, it's not just the President's Trophy win. It's the ease with which they dispatched of Minnesota, maybe the third best team in the whole league, in that second round, only to get swept here in the Western Conference Final. Is it a testament to the fact that Makar and McKinnon were both obviously not 100% through this whole series, or did this series maybe bring up some other issues that this Avalanche team might have in your mind?
Well, I think if you look at some of the players that did not produce in this series, because you're right, there's no getting around Cale Makar not being 100%. That is an irreplaceable player. So, you know that he's battling through something. He certainly did not look at 100% when he came back in these last two games. Nathan McKinnon did not look 100% in the last couple games off the injury. But what it did is expose some of the players that you expected, the depth that they had. Brock Nelson, Nazem Kadri, Natchez, players that you raved about all season long and said that look at what Colorado's depth can do. And unfortunately, those guys didn't come up. The injury to Nichushkin, who can be a difference maker with his size and his physicality. And these guys did not produce when your top players were injured. And you look through the whole National Hockey League, and I've said it before, your top players are the ones who are going to deliver the wins. Yes, your depth can help out on any given night. But if you're going to win a series, if you're going to win a Stanley Cup, you need that formula. You need great goaltending, you need tight systematic play, and you need your star players to deliver. And Colorado did not have that in this series whatsoever because of injury and because of the guys that are underneath the star players did not do a job. They did not look comfortable all series long, and that's a tribute to how Vegas played, how hard they played them in the neutral zone defensively. They couldn't get anything going, and that's why they're going home.
Great job as always, buddy. Jamie will be back later on this edition of the show to tell us how the Montreal Canadiens can... go ahead, Jamie.
I've got one thing. I'm going to challenge the picture that you put up. I don't know what's going on. I'm very disappointed. That's the best picture you guys could get of me? No. There's a million pictures on the internet of me, and it looks like I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that picture. I'm going to take umbrage with that. We're going to have a conversation about it.
I totally understand that, but here's the thing. We just wanted to match, we wanted your picture to match the comfort level that the Colorado Avalanche had against the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the Western Conference Final. I think we nailed that particular thing. But yes, you have a right to bring that up, and we'll talk about that later. But the most important thing we'll do later is talk about the Eastern Conference Final and the fact that the Montreal Canadiens will try to even up that series tonight at the Bell Center. Jamie's going to tell us how they can do that a little later on in the show.